So this week's program is not from TOPS. It's actually from Inc. And the program that Rick and Barb had last week, where it was just a Q&A, and so people joined in just to ask questions in general. So one person asked, how do you stay motivated during this time? So Rick's answer was that motivation comes within. And so I got to thinking about that. And I found this article that really makes a lot of sense. It doesn't list anything about weight loss, but it's just, learning how to find the motivation within ourselves to succeed. So I just thought it's an interesting topic, because I think that's everybody's question is, how do you stay motivated? And it's hard to stay motivated, unless it's a constant reminder. So if you're stuck in the doldrums, or even if you're a long-term procrastinator, which is me, there are strategies you can use to keep yourself motivated within. So the motivation that we find to lose weight or do anything really, we've got to have something within ourselves that really want to succeed at what we're doing. So we're gonna go over, I think there's 12 things here that tells us how to, get motivated. So when you're feeling overworked, overwhelmed, or overextended, as we so often do these days, we may find ourselves avoiding certain tasks, pulling off a difficult conversation, or maybe even ignoring important priorities. And what should be our priority right now? Us.
Not eating.
Well, not eating is just, or overeating is just part of it. I mean, our motivation should be wanting to be healthier. So we should make our priority ourselves and our health. Okay. So the longer you wait,
the big umbrella
task becomes. Do what?
The big umbrella.
Yep. So the longer you wait to do something, the harder the task becomes. And the more you delay, the harder the motivation is to find. Motivation is force that comes within. It helps you to push on when things are difficult and overcome lethargy and procrastination. So here's 12 things that we can do to help out with that. So number one is mind your mindset. So if you concentrate only on the task and how daunting it is, you may never get it done. So instead, think of how it will feel when the task is done, imagining the relief and happiness you can help get you moving. So when you're actually working on a project of any kind, you have to want to do it, right? So you got to get your mindset and focused on what you're trying to do. So as far as being healthy, we've got to get our mind set on where we want to be. Mine is taking a lot less medicine, and I'll get there. So I actually think about what it would be like not having to take, a lot of medicine. So being thinner. So what would you think? What are some things that you think you would feel once you get to a weight that you're happy with? How do you think you would feel?
I know my feet, ankles, and knees would appreciate it a whole lot.
I know mine would.
That's right. Comfortable knees.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Okay. And this the last couple of weeks, we've been tearing out my den floor, and I have learned that we were motivated to start with, but we've learned that we're not as healthy or young as we used to be. So tonight I had a contractor come in and to help me finish, or give me a price to finish, because it'll be worth it. Trust me.
Tops is having a Zoom.
All right. Okay. So number 2 is pay more attention to why and less to how. So if you're holding yourself back, worrying how you'll get something done, chances are you're struggling with perfectionism. Try taking how off the table and focusing instead on why. Why is it important, and why is it worthy of my time? So we could look at, why did we join TOPS to start with? And why do we want to try to lose weight and get healthy?
I've had one knee operation and I don't want another one.
That's a good motivator. Yep. So we need to look at why we started this journey to begin with, and why we want to lose the weight and become healthier. And, focus less on how we do it, and focus more on why we do it, and that will help with the how. So if you keep in mind why you want to lose weight, then you'll figure out how to get it done. And yes, we are worth it. We are worth that time that it takes. Okay, number 3.
A lot of people, it even means living longer.
That's right.
Living longer, enjoying yourself longer.
Or being able to walk, or, being able to do things that you want to do.
Yeah, it's kind of like, what's it called? Life. You're doing it for yourself, for your life, so that you're not stuck.
Right.
Or gone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So so we need, that's right. We need to focus on why we're doing it.
Plus, I'm accountable to the other members in my club. I don't want to have to face Deb and tell Deb that I put on a couple pounds.
Yeah. Yep. It is, if we always go to the meeting thinking, I'm going to be the only person that gained, and, all of us have probably been there at one time or another, be the only person that gained, and that makes me feel bad. I've been there a couple of times, and I just feel bad for everybody else. But if we always think about that I don't want to be the only person that gained, then, that may help you to get there too.
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. So let's set SMART goals. Goal setting is most helpful if you remember to use SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. SMART goals can help you navigate effectively through all the things you have to do and set priorities on the fly. And this setting SMART goals is actually part of your My Day One book. The newest one, the new My Day One book has it in there to where you set SMART goals. So we might want to go back and look at that and start over. Okay, so we want to start small. Break down your task into smaller pieces to make them more manageable and motivate you to start. So instead of thinking, okay, I've got to lose at least 50 pounds, I'm going to think I've got to lose 5 pounds. Let's think in 5 to 10 pound goals rather than, the 50 pounds, because 50 pounds is just like way overwhelming. And even if 5 or 10 pounds is too much, just think about 1 pound, or even losing 1 week at a time.
Just lose.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That could be your small goal, is just to lose, even if it's 1/4 pound.
Mhm.
Think about that stick of butter that's in your fridge. That's 1/4 pound.
Yep, I got lots of sticks of butter all over me.
Me too. All right. So hold yourself accountable. Make a point of telling others that you have taken responsibility for the task, and share a deadline. It's motivating to have someone watching. And that's kind of what we
That's
do
right.
at our meetings. That's why we have meetings, because we hold,
That's important.
yep. So,
Right. Accountability.
mhm. And other people know that we're trying to get there. And even if you need some extra accountability, tell your family member that, I plan to lose 10 pounds, in the next 6 months, or 3 months, or whatever you set your goal at. And, you'd be surprised how many people that are not in TOPS will help you, just because they know that you're trying. All right, use time wisely. With so many competing demands, try mastery is more important than ever. Learn how to take control of your time, and ensure you get things done. So have we all been using the time away from TOPS wisely? I can tell you I haven't.
No, not really.
All this time, we could have been exercising in our homes, and nobody's watching. We could do all this exercise, and, we could plan our meals better, and, things like that, because we have no distractions. But how many of us have done it? Not me. But some people have, because, I have heard people come back, with 30 pounds lost, or 10 pounds
Whoa.
lost. So,
Wow.
some people have used it wisely, but not everybody does. But that's what we need to do, is learn to use our time. And going on vacation when you're going to be out a week, that you should be thinking, okay, I can lose twice as much when I go back, rather than, oh, I got a free week. You got to look at the positive side of that, and think about, you can double up your weight loss. All right, crush procrastination. Especially when your motivation is low, it's easy to give in to procrastination. Discipline yourself so that now means now, whether you feel like it or not. And for me, for somebody that's been in TOPS for so long, I'm still procrastinating about getting this weight off. So I just have to start over and, get it done. Does anybody else have a problem with procrastinating
Oh, yes.
in
Especially
anything?
especially because we're not meeting. Actually, standing in front of all those ladies and guys and being accountable
Mm-hmm.
is huge.
That's what I'm saying.
Is huge.
Yep.
We were talking about that today.
Mm.
It does make
That
a big
keeps us from
difference.
putting it back on.
Mm-hmm. It really does. And even, even if you're not losing, as long as you're not gaining the weight back, I think you're being accountable. Because I know that a lot of people that lose the weight, and they think, oh, okay, great, I've lost the weight. Now what? If they quit, they put it back on plus some. It's just like any other eating plan or support group.
Yep.
Okay, find a carrot. Decide on a reward and agree to give it to yourself when you've completed a task or set of tasks. If it doesn't have to be an exuberant, a visit to the coffee shop, a walk, or an evening off may be all you need. And if you notice in that list, food was nowhere around. A coffee shop is coffee or tea, but in there, there's no a meal out or anything like
Girl.
that. So
When was the last time you went to Starbucks? Starbucks is full of food and sandwiches and sweets.
oh, I know it is, but I go to Starbucks, I get coffee. That's all I get.
You get coffee?
Yeah, and that's not very often.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather have my Maxwell House at home than pay $5 for a cup of coffee. But
I'm the same way.
But a lot of times
Why?
when we reward ourselves, it's going to be surrounded by food.
Yeah, that's the way we celebrate.
Comet and Cupid like coffee so much?
I don't know.
Because they are Santa's Starbucks.
Oh.
That's my
Okay,
Starbucks joke.
Oh, that's funny. You can, hey, look, use a carrot as your reward.
There you
I
go.
like to buy yarn.
Well, there you go. Do you crochet or knit?
Yes, I do. I love to crochet.
Okay,
Ah,
good deal. I never mastered that skill. My sisters, they can do it all day long, but I never mastered that skill.
I taught myself to crochet using YouTube videos. When I
Okay.
retired, I said, I'm going to take that up. And so I did.
You can learn a
Cool.
lot from YouTube.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
All right, so let's keep it real. Part of procrastination is an avoidance of the reality of consequences. What will happen if you don't do your part? How will it affect your career, your team, your organization, or in our case, our chapter or our family? Focus on your reality and start making things happen. So what will happen if you don't do your part as a member? And I'm not talking about weight loss. I'm just talking about in general. So you're a member of a chapter. What happens if you don't do your part to be?
in some way or somehow, it's going to suffer. If it's a meeting's going to be without your input.
Mhm.
If it's yourself, something's going to suffer. It does.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
Because what if everybody thinks, well, I'm not going tonight because I know I've gained.
Oh,
If
yeah.
everybody else thinks that, then who's going to be at the meeting?
It'll be just me, and that'll be the first time I will have had a really good loss.
And nobody share it.
Nobody's there to see it.
I'm just messing with y'all.
It's a good point, though.
Hey, that's one way to get a no gainer.
All right. So how will the attitude you have at the chapter, how would that affect the other members?
Oh, you're not encouraging them.
Everybody will be depressed.
Yeah. So everybody should come to the chapters each week, with a positive attitude and upbeat and, just so we can rub off on other members and visitors if we have any. All right. So look around you. It's hard to get anything done if you're in the company of lazy and unmotivated people. But if you are surrounded by positive and driven people who encourage and empower you, you'll get things done much more efficiently and effectively. So have you ever been part of the chapter and you just feel like the chapter's kind of in a lull, like everybody, um, most everybody's not losing, they're just kind of up and down, up and down. And how does that, how does that affect the morale of the chapter?
It affects everything. It affects everybody because the whole group is all sad or depressed or whatever. And for us, for our group, where that can be helped is we have a cop, and that cop helps us to get back on track.
Cool.
It really does. She's encouraging. She helps us. You can do this. It's just a down thing, but you can do it. So yeah.
That's what we need. We need a cop.
You can be the first cops.
There you go.
We've got some people who are close.
Well, that's good.
Well, you get to
That's
know your
very good.
people. You get to know your people, and when you get to know your people, I've got a few people that are sponges. In other words, if they are sitting beside someone that was negative, they get negative.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to kind of like pull them apart. And point out, hey, let's not have all this negative, because they just, and then it'll bring a meeting down.
It will. Mm-hmm. So, and who's in charge of bringing everybody back up?
Everybody should be in charge of that.
Each
That's
of us.
right. It's definitely not the leader. A leader doesn't have to try to bring everybody up. Of course they have to, they need to be upbeat, but everybody should have the same attitude and be positive and not try to bring everybody down.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't take but one person in a room to affect everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Or someone saying something that's cruel or mean or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the time.
Yeah, we don't need
It's
that.
not the place.
That's right. That's exactly right. All right. So ask for help. Hard as it can be to get started, sometimes it's even harder to ask for help. Nobody wants to appear incompetent, but often even a little bit of help can unleash any kind of energy. So, we could take this as a leader or a weight recorder of the chapter or program, a program chairman or, of the chapter, ask for help. Don't be, don't think that everybody would look down on you just because, you've asked for help, because as a leader, you can get burned out if you don't have people to help you. But if you need extra help to get that motivation or get that motivation started, call somebody on the phone during the week and ask for a little encouragement from that person. When you're struggling one day, or you feel like you're in the mood to eat everything in sight, just get on the phone with somebody and just talk. And you don't have to even say anything about tops. Just talk, and before you know it, that time has passed and you may not feel like that. But especially during this time when you're, most people are at home and they need somebody else to talk to. So just call a TOPS member and, just talk. And ask for that little help of motivation or help of encouragement. All right. So use a Post-it pad and write on each sheet something that drives and motivates you. Stick them near your desk or computer or your refrigerator or cabinet or on the mirror or, anywhere, just write little notes and just stick them all over the place. Especially if you're in a certain spot that triggers something that gets you off track, with your journey. The refrigerator is the number one spot because we go there and we look and see what's in there. But, if we put Post-it notes up there to remind us of our journey, that might help. And it, just put positive thoughts everywhere.
Good idea.
So finding the motivation within can be difficult, but the ability to stay motivated even when you don't feel inspired is a huge factor in the ability to be successful and something you'll always do well to cultivate. I always said that, when you go to SRD, if you could bottle up the enthusiasm you have when you walk out and just let a little bit out every once in a while during the year, it would be a great help. Because,
Very true.
every time I leave SRD, I just feel inspired and, motivated, wanting to get started to, on my journey, but that lasts about a week and, or until the next game. So I need to open that bottle of inspiration I get from SRD. Does anybody else have any additional ideas that, you think could help you get motivated within yourself?
I knew a girl that, bless her heart, she was bold. This girl was bold. She said what she would do was whenever she knew that her hiney was too big, she would get somebody to take a picture of her hiney.
Oh my.
She would post it on the refrigerator. Oh, that girl used to kill me, but by George, she meant business.
Well, if that's what helped her,
Oh, it was so funny. Woo!
That would be one of those Post-it motivators.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Oh, yes.
either that or, if you take a picture of yourself, of course you don't want to post it everywhere, but if you could put on like some tights and a tight shirt or something like that, and you could use it to post everywhere, because a lot.
That way, if someone saw it, they wouldn't be embarrassed.
Exactly. Exactly. Don't be posting no naked pictures.
No.
It might motivate other people too. I don't know.
That girl was crazy.
Yeah. So does anybody else have anything what about keeping us motivated? I mean, because we all get motivated at one time or another, and we're just made up our mind. We think we've made up our mind, to not finish the journey, but get closer to our goals. But then something happens and you lose track of that motivation. So what are some things that we can do to keep that? Once we get our mind set and made up, what are some ways that we can keep that motivation going? I mean, some of these, we can do that also, but, or what's something that you've done in the past that kept you going?
For myself, I just ask for help. I'm not too proud to ask for help, so I ask for help. And I know that the individuals that I ask for that help with, they are good, and they don't punish me. They don't talk bad to me. We just talk. And, well, why do you think you're doing that? Well, because I'm stuck at home all day
Yeah.
and I'm doing all this and blah, blah, blah. And so it's just more or less just having somebody that holds me accountable seems to work for me. As long as, if I'm being held accountable, I do okay. If
Yeah.
I'm not held accountable, it seems like I sort of stray.
That's right. Accountability with friends.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good. Okay. Well, do y'all have any other comments you would like to share? I mean, it doesn't have to be about the program, but just in general or anything y'all want to talk about? Everybody's so,
I hope 2021 is better than 2020.
Yes.
me too.
No, I hope I never hear the word COVID again.
Well, I have a feeling that's around to stay. Hopefully it won't be, hopefully it won't be as bad. You know, maybe it'll be just a passing phrase, but it it's not going anywhere, I don't think.
They had a little thing in the New York Times. That's a paper that I get and online, and you could go and put in your zip code and see when. See, first off, you could see how many people are in the hospital within your county, and then they had another thing on there where you could work it different ways. You could put in your age. You could put in the things that you have, like if you have heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, whatever. You could put those things in, and then it would factor in when you would be able to get the vaccine that they're talking about.
Oh yeah.
It was so amazing. I put in my info, and I did a couple of different ways just to see. And here in Henry County, uh, if I'm just my age, 65 and over, I'm somewhere in the 17,000 something number. If I put myself with one or more problems, you know, like diabetes or whatever it may be, then I go down to I'm 13,000 something in getting the vaccine. And I just thought it was just hilarious, really, to look at it. And so it brings home to me all the reason why we need to wear the mask when you go out, when you're around people, you know, wash your hands. It just makes sense because look, even if with the vaccine, and that's if everything goes right, because our vaccines aren't, um, they haven't been tested the way normally they test vaccines and stuff, you know.
That's right. That's right.
Certainly there is going to be something that 5 years from now show up that we didn't know, 10 years
Mhm.
from now. I mean, we already know people that have taken it and some people have gotten sick for different reasons, you know. So we know that, you know, that's going to happen, but it's just makes more sense since we can't get the vaccine, that we really, really should pay more close attention to wearing that mask and washing our hands and stuff. It's something else. But I
That's
tell
just to
myself,
me plain good old common sense that mom and dad taught us when we were growing up. You walked in the door, first thing mama said was go wash your hands.
they did.
Yeah.
They did.
Remember? I mean, really and truly, that's the first thing that mama said, go wash your hands.
Mm-hmm. Don't you go in my refrigerator, you ain't wash your hands.
Thank you. Irene, we were raised in the same house. Okay.
Oh gosh.
And every time they would talk about the different things to do, I'm like, this is common sense.
Mm-hmm.
This is the way we were raised.
Yeah.
All of it is.
But
All
when
of it
you're
is.
when you're out and about around people, you really don't. I don't think people think about it as much. You know, when when you're at home, you know, that's one thing. But when you're out and about, you know, you're grocery shopping, you're touching buggies, and you're touching things that maybe picking up something off the shelf and looking at it. Well, the person in front of you know that come along and looked at it first. You know, you're passing germs. So I think when people are out and about, they don't think about it as much.
Well, I disagree. And I disagree. I think what we see is that the older people, is just stuff that we were taught. First off, you don't touch everything. That's what they taught us.
Right.
Okay, you don't touch
Yeah.
everything. We just got into this bad habit, I guess, because with Tops they tell us to look at the ingredients. But before okay, yeah, let me get that. That's
Yeah.
the brand we usually have, and we just stick it in there. But we always, like growing up, or even having my child. The other day, I saw a lady. She had the cutest little baby, and the little baby is sucking on the handle of the.
Oh, no.
When you push the basket, and she sees the baby licking. She sees the baby licking, and so she takes the baby, she moves the baby's mouth, and then she sticks her finger in the baby's mouth, right? The baby.
Oh.
Now wait a minute, you've been pushing the child around in this cart, and now you're gonna stick
Handles.
it in her mouth, and it's just common sense. And she was a young girl, but it's just for us older ones. This is just common sense. We wouldn't do it. It doesn't have anything to do with COVID. Some things you just didn't do. You just didn't do. Like I see young people,
I think it's still very weird that young people seem to be so immune. They haven't had the exposure to other diseases and flus and haven't built up the immunity that we have, but they seem to have the immunity.
Remember
well, they think they do because they're dying just like the older ones. Yeah.
Well, we just have to do the best we can and be as safe as we can. Because I have a feeling it's going before Christmas is over, before New Year's is over with, or right after New Year's, it's going to get worse before it gets better.
For sure.
And it seems like the younger people does not look at it as big as
well, they're
bad as it used as other people do.
Younger people today think that they're invincible. That's not going to happen to me. They're the invincible age,
Right.
and driving fast and taking chances and doing this and doing that. They're going through the invincible stage. And
don't they refer to, are they the ones that's referred to the Generation X? Is that Generation X, or is that the teenagers?
The millennials, isn't it? Or is there one after that?
Oh, there's a Generation X. I think that comes last, but I can't remember. I actually used to know that, and I guess I didn't forget it. I done got old.
Well, I looked at all of
that.
I looked at all of that a couple of months ago, and I can't remember.
Mm-hmm. I was looking at, like, today they had over 300,000 people that are dead. That's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of people that's dead from this disease. And then you think of the ones that's in the hospital. And what made me look at it, I had a friend that's in Florida that's 52 years old, and he lost his battle on Friday night. And he obviously must have caught it from work. He's a general manager at Cracker Barrel in Orlando, and he lost his fight with it, and he was pretty much healthy, so but it's just so many people, for people to really just think that this isn't real. That's what really blows my mind, for people to say it's not real. I can't see how you can think like that when it's almost 500,000 people dead.
Yeah.
Within 9 months. That's a lot of people.
Yes, the pastor of my church ended up spending a week in the hospital.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah.
I think all of us by now probably know somebody or that has it, or a friend or somebody that has it or has died from it.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
So.
All right.
So
But
true.
we just have to be as safe as we can and protect us and the people that we're around. So that's all we can do. If everybody did that, it would be a lot better.
It's-
2021 is going to be a better year.
It is.
I believe so too, as we get near the end. I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving of next year, if God's willing, if I'm alive. I'm looking
That's right.
forward to that. I really missed that this year. And for those that went and was around family or whatever, you know, people that don't normally live in your household, I'm praying that they be okay.
Yeah.
Because I believe we're getting ready to see that fall out of that, you know.
I
But,
think we've already been seeing some of it, but
think
and-
so.
the Christmas and New Year's parties is going to be, I think, even bigger, a
Yeah.
bigger fallout.
Yeah.
So probably by February, we'll probably be seeing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope not. I hope not, but it wouldn't surprise me if it happened.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, ladies, thank y'all for joining. And I guess if nothing happens,
Thank you,
I'm
Rhonda.
planning to be here next Monday. So, y'all come back and join us. And you know, if there's anything y'all want to see talked about, just let me know or bring the program, and I'll be glad for y'all to present the program too. So,
All right. Are you going to download this particular one you did today?
Yes, yeah, I can post it.
Okay.
And I'll try. For some reason, the file didn't post on Facebook earlier, so I'll do that one too. I'll do that too. So,
Okay.
everybody can have that. So,
Cool.
all right. Well, thank y'all for joining, and y'all be safe and have a
Thank
good
you for
night.
having us.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.